Welcome to the Get Animated Guide to Creating Better Digital Content in Healthcare. In this first session, we're going to think about creativity. So what is creativity? Tell me, what's this? You may say it's a piece of tin foil, and that would be accurate, but actually thinking creatively, it could be anything you want it to be. I shamelessly stole that from a creative director I used to work with. And another thing he taught me was that being creative is actually about being brave. And I can prove that with the help of a volunteer. Hey Eva, come here. Could you draw me a picture of a unicorn, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. We'll come back and see how that goes in a little while. You see, when we're young, and we master the art of holding pencils or crayons, and our teachers or parents or siblings ask us to draw a picture, we just get our heads down and get on with it. It's the freest form of artistic impression. And we don't care whether there's a big gap between a blue sky and a green landscape, or that our horse has 5 legs and a hamburger on its head. We just want it to be our picture, it's ours, and it's brilliant. Now look at some other examples. Taken these from an online resource called Board Panda. In these examples, the kids have been asked to create their own monsters, and then someone slightly more professional has turned them into something a little more polished. But the originals are still fantastic, and I'm sure that many of you have your own budding Picasso's pieces of work attached to fridge magnets. You see, as we get older, we get critiqued by individuals who really aren't qualified to critique our work at all. And when you create something, it's for you, it's perfect, it's exactly as you intended it to be. Yet our egos get bruised over time, I guess, and we withdraw from that freedom. We hide our artistic impression and we say we can't do it anymore. How many grown adults do you know tell you that they can't draw? It's nonsense. They're just afraid that the output isn't going to be as expected, whatever that means. Unless, of course, the individuals you're talking to work in creative agencies. Bonkers, the whole lot of them, and extremely brave. Brave to accept the challenge, to help customers' products stand out, to deliver imagery and messaging that actually changes behaviours. This is especially, if not more important, in healthcare. The target audience can be extremely small and select, and of course everything is regulated, and rightly so, which means thinking creatively to capture the attention of your audience is to be even smarter and far more brave. I think we should consider the roles and responsibilities of the key stakeholders involved. We've got regulatory, they're responsible to make sure that what we say is ethical within the code and also accurate and can be backed up by clinical data. We've got your procurement teams, they need to make sure that the suppliers you're working with run their businesses ethically too, and also that marketing spends are being sensibly invested. You've got product managers. It's their job not just to understand the features and benefits of the product, but also to see where it sits in terms of its value in the marketplace. And if you have promotional material, you need to think about your sales reps. Anything that you produce needs to enable them to do their jobs a little bit better. And your customers, hugely important. They can give you a real insight as to what is needed, and also feedback on what it is you're producing in terms of content and marketing materials. So in all of this, what is the role of the marketer themselves? Well, the clue is in the title really. They need to understand their market, who the audience are and what are they like, and we'll talk about this a little more in the next video in the series. The size of the market opportunity, who are the competition and how are they performing, what are the forecasted business objectives of their product in its marketplace, and to understand the benefits and features of the product or portfolio, and to tie all of this together to consider a campaign with elements that are going to make the product a success. And while marketers do these things, and I'm sure many other things, I want to ask a rhetorical question. Is it a marketer's responsibility to be creative? I think they should have a creative eye. I think they should be able to see the effectiveness of a potential campaign as it's being developed. But it's not down to the marketer to come up with all of their ideas on their own. That's why they employ creative agencies. What is the important part of a marketing role though, is to generate a brief that's going to be really useful. A brief which summarizes all of the information we've just talked about. It lays out the detail of the problem. It lays out the size of the opportunity, the market landscape, all that intel, including product features and benefits too. But it's insights and an understanding of the problem that really helps a creative agency come to life. It's a personal thing, but I really don't like prescriptive briefs. If a customer comes to me and says, I want a new website or I need an app, my first question would always be why? And I think when you form a relationship with a creative agency, you need to have a level of respect where you're prepared to be challenged and that you respect one another's opinions. And potentially, the brief could have been right all along. Maybe you really do need a new website and maybe you really do need an app. But I think it should be explored further before you progress and invest in something that actually isn't going to be pragmatic and do what you needed to do for the success of your product and your business objectives. Of course, another consideration when writing a brief is time. Time in terms of when you need your creative content to be produced by. You may be attending an event where you could really make a big splash with your target audience. You may be expecting positive recommendations from NICE, or perhaps your product's coming to the end of exclusivity and you want to replace what the reps are doing with some sort of digital tactics. You may even have a patient disease awareness program or a pain management program, and in the current times, really critical that you get that sort of content out as quickly as possible. The other thing which is a bit funny, a bit of a gag in terms of creative agencies, is briefs which give you no time to really percolate your ideas and have any thinking time at all. Be creative and be creative right now is pretty tough. So be considerate in terms of how long you're expecting agencies to have before they come back with some great ideas. And I'd just like to talk a little bit about the pitching process. Imagine you've done due diligence and selected 5 very positive agencies, and you ask all of them to come and pitch to you big ideas for whatever it is you need. And each of those 5 agencies assign 3 or 4 different people to the task. And then those 3 or 4 people, along with senior management, come to pitch to you. And at the end of that first cycle of pitching, you shortlist to 2 and ask those 2 agencies to go away and refine their ideas. That is a huge amount of work. And for the 4 agencies who aren't successful, they've kind of invested a huge amount of resource without any return to them. And last year I met a lady who was a regional brand lead for one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And she told me that her preferred way of meeting agencies was actually to give them the brief, well written, well thought through, but rather than asking them to put together a huge pitch deck, just to come back with scribbles and scamps and talk through their ideas and their thinking. And that allowed her to form a bond, a relationship. And that bit's really the most important part, because at the end of saying 5 different agencies, you're probably going to choose the ones you felt most comfortable around and the ones you trusted most. And once you've built that trust, you'll be prepared to be challenged and also to challenge their thinking too. It's a nice, open, honest relationship. And at that point, then you can start sharing budgets. So I get it. I understand your budgets may be restricted and the procurement have requirements. But what really is important is that a good creative agency will take your budget and make it work as hard as it possibly can. And I want to share with you an example of this. This work was delivered by Precision Effect, who were formerly Big Pink, and it's a smashing little animation which really gets the message across. It's quite emotive, it's very, very powerful, and as you'll see, really quite a low budget item. So as you can see, a really smashing piece of work there. And of course we couldn't do this video without promoting Get Animated Medical. And we're extremely proud because as of just yesterday, the day before filming this, we received a Telly Award for this fantastic clip we've just produced for a company called Happy Planet. And I hope you'll really enjoy that. It certainly demonstrates you don't need big budgets and huge 3D super effects. Produce something that's wonderful and really gets the message across. Right, so going back to children being absolutely fearless in their creative work, let's see how Eva's getting on. Eva, can I see your picture now, please? Wow, that's amazing! Yay, well done you. I love your unicorn, it's brilliant. Thank you. So Eva there, just reinforcing the fact that as a youngster you can be brave and be as creative and as free with your creativity as you wish. So choose your partners well. Choose the ones that are going to be brave enough to challenge the norm, to make your content stand up and be heard. Brave enough to be compliant. Recklessness isn't being brave at all. And also being creative with your budgets, letting you get as much as possible with your marketing spend for the greatest possible impact. We need to remember to embrace all of the stakeholders in the process and keep everybody involved. And finding for you a creative partner who's going to help you really fulfill your creative potential.